Ladies and gentlemen, now please welcome with me our next and fourth panel for today, talking about the future of real estate. We are joined by pioneers creating new models for the industry. I would like to call Manar Mahmassani to the stage. Manar is the co-founder of Stake. Manar and his team are making real estate accessible to all, enabling people to buy fractional shares in properties for as little as $150 in the UAE and Saudi. Please. We also have with us Omar Abu Innab, co-founder and CEO of Keyper. Omar and his team pioneered rent now, pay later concept to home rentals, a revolutionary idea for tenants. Keyper now manages over 2,000 properties. Mr. Omar. With us also, Ali Fouzan, founder of Mudeer. Ali is leveraging his extensive background in large-scale property maintenance to build Mudeer, a tech-driven platform for smarter private and commercial property management. Ali, please join us. And with us also, Abdullah Alsaleh, co-founder and CEO of Sakan. Abdullah has rapidly grown Sakan into one of the region's leaders and biggest property marketplace operating across Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, and Qatar by creating a dynamic integrated real estate platform. Abdullah, please. Gentlemen, good afternoon. It's a pleasure having you here. And before we go into our panel, I know it's the Proptech sector is very wide, and the world is very big. So, from your organizational perspective, I need each of you to describe what is the company is doing on that Proptech and what is the shaping of the next future, let's say, Proptech industry also. Mr. Elmer, we'll start with you.
Well, first of all, thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure to be with you here in Kuwait. To answer your question, Stake is a digital real estate investment platform that lets anyone from anywhere in the world buy into real estate from as low as $150, 500 riyals, Saudi riyals, or 500 dirhams specifically, in under 3 minutes. It's a shopping for real estate kind of proposition, but for investment purposes. We distribute dividends on a monthly basis from income-generating properties mostly. We're live in UAE and Saudi, and we just launched in the US through partner fund managers. The problem that we're solving is specifically access to real estate. You have usually a big commitment to make if you want to buy a property or buy into commercial real estate with institutional investors. And we're breaking down that barrier. So digitizing real estate comes also as a hand in hand with the product. And in solving those two pieces, digitization and democratization of real estate, liquidity also gets enhanced for the asset class and amongst the ecosystem players.
Yes. Thank you very much. Omar, please.
Thank you for hosting us. I want to talk a bit about Keyper. Keyper, we have an app for the landlords that you can manage your real estate portfolio, kind of like you manage your equities portfolio. You have data, you have analytics, you have research reports, you have live valuations, so you know at any given time what your property is worth. And you have fintech products. So if you're a landlord here in Kuwait and you have to wait every month to get your rent, we actually have a product that can give you an upfront rent for all that rent, and we take the default risk on your behalf. We also launched a product for the tenant side as well, called Rent Now, Pay Later. It's kind of like Tabi and Tamara for paying rent. So as a tenant, and you don't have that problem here in Kuwait, but it's relevant in Saudi and the UAE, tenants have to pay their rent 1 check, 2 checks, or 4 checks. And that's a big burden for them. And typically rent is the largest expense for household. We've made that digital, so they can now pay it all on credit cards, they can make reward points, and they can make it on monthly installments.
Thank you, Omar. Thank you. Ali. Just the mic. The mic, just can check the mic. Yes. Yes, it's working now.
Working now.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for having me. Mudeer idea came out of gap in the market for the middle and small size. There is a huge gap between such a huge facility like we are here in, and with, let's say, a villa, a residential building, or a small commercial building. Why? Because this huge real estate can afford having a high caliber people to manage it, while for the smaller facilities, it's not the case. So here we have become to fill up this gap. So the idea for Mudeer is to be your pro and top-notch facility manager and to bring these expertise to small and medium-sized properties.
Thank you very much. Abdullah, second.
Thank you for having us, Khalid. So Sakan is a marketplace. It caters for mainly 4 types of users: property owners, brokers, seekers, and developers. So we started as a, let's say, a matching portal, and then we grow our vision to enable the users to go through the whole transaction online. So they can now they can rent fully online, and let's say 90% on the sales side in Kuwait. Alhamdulillah, we reached #1 property platform in Kuwait. In terms of users, or in terms of downloads, and we expanded in the Saudi and Qatar market.
MashaAllah. Wishing you all the best, gentlemen. And to diversify, we have an ownership, we have a payment and financial, we have maintenance, and we have a marketplace. Going back to the questions of the panels, I will start with you, Manar. With the fractional ownership, which you and your team pioneered at stake within an entry level starting $150, as you mentioned, what behavior shifts are you seeing at the moment based on the region, on the ticket size, on the portfolio, and the individuals that are participating with the stake?
I think there's a number of themes at play that we're seeing, happening before our eyes, right? Some of the points that you maybe alluded to involve a regulatory shift, which we've been fortunate to see now after operating for 4 or 5 years that regulators are really keen and have seen the benefits of digitizing and democratizing the asset class, and so there is a push now towards tokenization, which is a very powerful one, and it's one that's a global theme as well. You guys have been hearing about AI a lot, but the next big technological shift that's happening is the tokenization of finance, and real estate is a real-world asset that is very much part of that. So there is, in places like Dubai, the land department has started to tokenize title deeds and take a really a leading position, globally speaking, in doing that, putting transactions on the blockchain when it comes to real estate, and that's a phenomenal development to see and be part of for us. But at the same time, we also see the power of aggregation ultimately in providing even institutional players with the capital that they need to grow, and so the technology shift is there, but the benefits of having a lot of capital that is waiting to be deployed from consumers, everyday consumers, to this asset class, because they've been priced out for the longest time, is really what is driving the change. And it's a very fascinating time to be able to do that. I'll highlight that in 5 years, while we've executed very well at stake, we are also in the right place at the right time. Alhamdulillah. Our region is growing fast, and Rabia has also mentioned phenomenal aspects of the market here that it's been treated like emerging markets, but it actually has amazing developed market aspects to it. So it's really an arbitrage, and people are finally kind of taking note of it. From across the globe, you're seeing that from the flow of capital, the flow of people. And we are one of those kind of beneficiaries of that when you look at our user base being globally distributed. More than half of our users that buy into Dubai properties are based outside of Dubai and from really places from 170 different countries and 200 plus nationalities. We have over 1.5 million users. We've transacted about 1.5 billion dirhams worth of properties, about $400 million in total, and that shows you the scale of the model can be, kind of solved in this part of the world because we have, such great things like very high yielding assets compared to developed markets, dollar stable currency, and a very digitally enabled consumer base locally that is highly engaged with such fintech products and is willing to embrace the change, and obviously a young population as well that is willing to embrace the change. So we're seeing all that play out in our favor and in the market's favor ultimately to bring permanent capital to the real estate markets.
Yes. As you touch on the finance and the financial services that are tokenized now at the moment, beside, let's say, using AI, I will direct this question to Abdullah. Second, partnership with KFH, Kuwait Finance House, embeds financing directly into the platform. How does that change the economics of the marketplace? And is this the model for fintech, Proptech, covenants, or partnership in the Gulf that you are seeing?
Yeah, so as a marketplace, when it started, it was, a subscription model where an owner or a broker can list their property, and that's it. What we are trying to do is to complete the cycle. To buy a property, there is a lot of steps to do, and each one, each buyer have his own experience, his own steps to do that. So what we are trying to do is to make it seamless for the end user by having more services related to buying the property or renting the property. So what we have with the KFH, we were anticipating the new regulation that is happening, that was released 3 or 4 weeks ago in Kuwait, which is having property developers and to work within the residential sector.
Yes.
To help the residential backlog in housing, Ministry of Housing. Okay, so and we know that backlog is huge, with almost 120K family waiting for their housing. So to tackle that, you need a seamless journey.
Yes.
And the new regulation allows the banks to finance the buying, just similar to what is happening now in Saudi or most GCC countries. Yeah. So for us, it is a new revenue stream as a marketplace. For the bank, it is a qualified lead who's ready to buy now because he's searching for a property. And for the end user, it is a seamless journey. So it's a win-win-win situation. Yeah?
Yes. Yeah. And just focusing also on the financial, Omar, Keyper has 7,000 plus listing. What impact is rent now by later having on vacancies, defaults, and landlord retention versus the traditional annual check payments, or let's say markets?
Very good question. I mean, today we have 8,000 properties on our platform, and these platforms benefit from live valuations and ability to access fintech products. The upfront rent for the landlord and the rent now pay later are our first 2 fintech products, but they're our fastest growing. We've raised $30 million from Franklin Templeton that allows us to do $150 million of financing for both tenants and for landlords. We take default risk on their behalf, so they're worrisome. We don't have any worries. We have seen significant growth. We're growing our book 45% month on month, and the benefits are great from the tenant perspective. They get to pay with their credit cards, and they get miles and rewards. They get to pay monthly, no longer have to pay 1 check, 2 checks in advance. And obviously the UAE is a fast-growing pace. Dubai alone doubled the population in the last 4 years, and the rents have doubled. So that was a big burden for them to pay all the rent in 1 check. Now they have that solution.
So, Ali, this one is for you. From what the gentlemen have been highlighting and focusing on about, let's say, the financial, and when we are talking about financial services, we are talking about majority and scalability of services. For Mudeer, so what's the percentage of the Kuwait's real estate that is managed offline from your perspective? I know that you had taken so much time studying the market, and I know that you have figured where's the gaps and the hidden cost, and for tenant also, for the maintenance delays and everything. So if you can just give us, let's say, a more clear overview of Mudeer tackling these gaps.
Yes, yeah, it's a good question. Actually, that's why Mudeer was created. Fairly speaking, the market is an offline market. There is not a lot of data in terms of facility management structure cost. Okay, I'm talking about here about the small to mid-size properties. Usually, there is an in-premises facility management caters, let's say, the big malls, the big hospitals, you know, the big hotels. But we are talking about small to medium. It's actually a dark spot, and this is where the opportunity lies. That Mudeer is now pushing in that path to lighten up that place. And that's actually our plan in the next 2 years, is to have some macro data in order to have each client performance. Because once you don't have a peer-to-peer analysis, then you can't judge whether you are doing good or bad, or there is something better to do about. So here is the plan, is that we would like to have more segmentation for each sector, for each type of properties, and especially whether it is a residential, starting from residential villa to a residential building to even commercial complexes. This is all will drive the market to better and more efficient way, because unfortunately now the hidden cost cannot be counted because you cannot compare. So once we have that comparisons, then we can, I believe, we can deliver the efficiency market to a much higher level.
Yes, 100% sure. Yeah. I agree on that. And back to you, Manar. Stake have been exposing more and more markets and individuals, and giving them an opportunity to be not only ownership, but also an investor. So what are seeing a positive social impact from stake business model, and what surprised you more with the let's say feedback or this experience with the individuals?
Well, there's a number of things that come to mind, but firstly say we didn't want to go down the path of having an investment platform that is intimidating, something that's very kind of difficult or risk-driven. We wanted to go to very basic apartments in super prime locations in Dubai. We built the business on that basis and distributing consistently the dividends on the end of the month. We just wanted to be making it a product for everyone for that reason, so that everybody actually feels the need to want to own real estate. So we wanted to give it to them, and because of the e-commerce wave that we've been living in the last 20 years, we wanted to make it feel like they're shopping on Amazon. So we didn't go down the path of doing something very, trading platform-like. It was more like buy something, and start to benefit, and buy something very easily with Apple Pay. We saw that the behavior and the adoption, picked up fast. There's a lot of education to try and explain what it is that they're buying exactly, because our regulatory framework within the DFSA involves, getting these investors on SPVs. Every property is an SPV, so we had to really kind of abstract that away, but also make them understand, the average consumer to understand what is an SPV, what is a share certificate, and those sorts of things. So we saw that the individuals, when they come in, they try you for a small amount, they get their first dividend, their second dividend, and then they start to expand their relationship with you. So a fascinating behavior takes place, which is repeat customer activity. We have cohorts that are 2-3 years old that are still growing, at 5% a month. And that shows you that people are looking for a place to park their savings consistently, as when they start to trust a platform that is able to deliver on the service and is regulated, of course. And so that's one of the key aspects that we think we're building a behavioral change for people to save into real estate differently than, actually more relevantly than saving on an ETF, buying the index funds in the US, for instance, the S&P 500 ETF funds, which most robo-advisors really build their businesses on top. And Robinhood, of course, coined trading for retail in stocks, but we see ourselves as being, the Robinhood for real estate.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I can relate that for what Abdullah have been mentioning before, that Sakan was the first Proptech application in Kuwait. And also you published recently your residential market report showing that 383 billion transaction 24 happened in the GCC. So in the same matter, that there's a surprise in every app or every technology that you bring to the market. What surprised you more really in the Kuwaiti market?
Well, about the report efforts in GCC, well, the number shows that the market is a solid market, the real estate market. It's growing, and what is fascinating is Dubai. So because almost half of the transaction is coming from only Dubai, half of GCC transaction. So it is something to look at. Why is that? What is happening there? What is the regulation there? And we found three major things. First, it's the transaction can be done through in their system they have what do they call
Digitizing the real estate system.
It's not a broker. It's an office that can do the transaction online. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's easy to transact. This is number one. They have e-title deed. It's electronic. And also the financing is open there through, so you can buy through banks. Also the foreign ownership, so non UAE citizens can buy in UAE. And the last thing is it's not the last thing, but the major one of the major things is developers. And the incentive they have in Dubai. Secondly, is what is also fascinating in the report. Saudi is growing, in a sharp way. So it shows around 30% growth in the Saudi market. Comparing that to Kuwait, well, the Kuwaiti market used, before the new regulation, I would say not very healthy, because as an investor, you can only buy or you can only finance commercial and investment properties. Yeah. Now, alhamdulillah, the new regulation, I believe the scene will be changed. There will be more transaction once it is starting.
Yeah.
And it holds, you know, the value of transaction is growing because, you know, the land prices are high in Kuwait.
Yes.
Okay, so it will help the backlog of the housing, the Ministry of Housing. It is small, but you know the new regulation. I think it will help.
I think there's something coming. Yeah, we are seeing all that fuzz around and let's say international money coming to Kuwait, inshallah, hopefully, and hopefully we'll find new opportunities with the housing. Omar, Manar and Abdullah have just highlighted what is the amazing thing about the Dubai market, let's say real estate market. For Keyper, how can I say it? Let's say if we are talking about expanding out of UAE, okay, what needs to be happened for rent now by later or pay later to scale reasonably for Kuwait and Saudi?
Very good question. I mean, one, you need data analytics. You need to be connecting with the land department themselves to have that data available for landlords. You need to have models that you can evaluate the risk of the tenants, open banking that allows you to do credit checks on the tenants. And then you need financing. The more access to financing, the cheaper financing you have, the more you're able to pass that on to the landlords and the tenants and make it a more efficient market.
Yes. So if we are saying that now the UAE have embedded all these services and let's say these features, can Keyper now expand to Kuwait without these services are embedded or let's say applied or activated in Kuwait? Will it be challenging, or it will be for the need that for the landlords to get their checks early, let's say, and without any risk?
Correct. On the tenant side, the problem is solved here. People are paying monthly, and that's very convenient for them. I think they'd rather pay more on credit cards and get rewards. But on the landlord side, the problem is different. Now, if you're leasing your property in Kuwait, you have to wait 12 months, and there's 12 different chances for the tenant to default on you. So if there's an instrument that can give you that money upfront, that can remove any defaults, then you probably would take it and reinvest that money into either new properties or other investments as well.
And one of the defaults, I have to say, because I'm a lawyer, so one of the defaults that having a lawyer with expensive contract that will be getting that money. Ali, talking about data, Mudeer's data-driven app, from what you have seen and analyzed from the Kuwaiti markets, trends, and from, let's say, the feedback of the users, for example, it's making Mudeer a complementary market or creating a complementary market?
Good question. Yes, that's what we are working on. Now we are establishing a data for each sector. So we are separating it from, let's say, the industrial, residential, and commercial sectors. So absolutely it varies, depends on each one of them. The idea is that with Mudeer, mainly we are focusing on how to, first of all, extend the lifespan of the property, the main assets of it, which is its main systems. So Mudeer is focusing mainly on how to bring in, for the very first time, site supervision. Number two, being part of bigger portfolio. So instead of getting a retail rate, you are getting a wholesale rate as a landlord. And at the end of the day, what come as a conclusion is the data. So once you start to compare your numbers as individual before Mudeer, and then afterwards, you're gonna find a big gap. So again, and then with the time, yes, absolutely, these data are gonna be an instrumental part in our growth, because based on that, we can determine whether this, let's say, this real estate is doing within the market norm, whether below or doing above, and how to do like an improvement plan for the following year. So actually, that's what we are bringing to the table, is that you are finally having your top-notch facility manager in fraction of number.
Yeah. Gentlemen, before we close our panel, and each minute, and 1 minute for each of you, what kind of advice you can provide for the attendees and the ladies and gentlemen about Proptech within the next 3 to 5 years? Manar.
I think it's one of the very few industries still left to digitize, and it's the largest asset class. So it has its set of problems that are each one of us is trying to solve, and it will always, I think, if you look at the next 5 years, have a set of problems, even when it gets digitized, to serve the ecosystem players. So I would say pick your problem, make sure it's a big one to solve for, that has a big market or a big demand for it, and really just kind of focus on delivering that at excellently, and you can build a very scalable business.
Yes, Omar.
Well said. I echo what Manar says. I mean, real estate is the largest asset class, and in the region, we have more comfort investing in real estate than investing in AI and others, because we understand it better. We see it, we're able to monetize it. So the idea is, if you have a large portfolio of real estate, you need to start thinking about ways to digitize it, make it more efficient. How do you are able to differentiate what are good investments and what are bad investments, and how you can get more from your portfolio. And Proptech delivers that for you.
Yes, 100%. Ali.
Yes, I'm talking here mainly in Kuwait. The real estate is a little bit behind the other sectors compared to, let's say, F&B or other sectors like aviation or others. Yes, real estate is more of an offline, so I believe in the next 3-5 years, it's going to be a big leap. Why? Because we are already behind, and there is a lot of big opportunities up there for grabs.
Yes, Abdullah.
Well, I have to agree with the gentlemen. It is the largest private market, after oil and gas. So, and still there is a lot to be developed for that market. It is there is a lot of niches that startups can focus on. So yes, the opportunities is still there. It is a big market, and we tapped only the small parts of it.
Yes, I'm sure of that. And dear gentlemen, thank you very much.